Hello and welcome to How to Mobile Photo. I'm Neeta Shankar, a wedding and lifestyle photographer from Bangalore. In today's topic, we will be learning how to compose better photos using a smartphone. Composition in photography is simply the arrangement of visual elements within a frame. Following some rules of composition will help take your photos from boring amateurish snapshots to professional looking photos. Today we will be using Vivo X80 powered by MediaTek Dimensity 9000 to learn about composition rules. The first rule of composition we'll learn today is the rule of thirds. This is one of the easiest and most important rules of composition. Instead of placing your subject right in the center of the frame, place the subject on 1/3. To do this, imagine your frame is divided into 9 equal parts in a 3x3 grid. Place your subject anywhere on the key power points, which are the points of intersection of the grid lines. You can switch on the grid on your phone to make it easier for you to use this rule. Leading lines are lines that appear in a photograph that has been framed and positioned by the photographer to draw the viewer's eye towards a specific point of interest. These lines often draw the viewer's eye in a specific direction or towards a designated portion of the photograph. Usually, these lines start at the bottom of the frame and guide the eye upward from the foreground of the image to the background. Leading lines can be anything: roads, stairs, pathways, rivers, etc. The third rule of composition is the rule of horizon. This rule is the extension of rule of thirds we just learned. It is especially useful for composing landscapes. This rule states that we should place the horizon a third of the way from the top or bottom of the photograph, and we should at all costs avoid putting the horizon in the center of the frame. The 3x3 grid that we switched on can be used here as well while composing the images. Where you are placing the horizon within the frame helps place emphasis on either the land or the sky in the photograph. If you want to draw attention toward the land within your photograph, you should place the horizon on the upper line. If you want to emphasize the sky by drawing attention to the clouds or the colors of the sky, then place the horizon in the lower grid line. The next rule is the use of foreground elements and layering. In a photograph, the foreground is the portion of the frame that is closest to the camera. The foreground space in an image can be utilized to draw attention to the subject located further into the frame. It helps to add depth by including layers in your photograph. That is, a foreground layer to add depth and context and frame your subject, a middle ground where your subject is placed, and the background layer to show the scene, location, environment, and to give perspective in relation to the subject of the photograph. A foreground element can also help conceal unappealing elements in a scene. So, if you can take a step back to include more of the foreground, it might enhance the subject and its environment. Another rule of composition is the rule of space. The rule of space relates to the direction the subject of the photograph is moving in or even just looking in. The rule says that you should have more space in front of the subject than behind, thus giving the subject space to move into within the picture. The next rule is patterns and textures. A pattern in photography is a regularity within a scene. It's the elements of the scene that repeat themselves in a predictable way. Patterns and textures can be found everywhere and can often make for good backgrounds. You can also photograph patterns on their own as the subject of the photo rather than as an element of composition. Getting in close and filling the frame with a pattern or texture simplifies the image and emphasizes the pattern photography. Since we will be shooting and editing a lot of pictures today, we would not want to waste time in transferring all these files. With MediaTek Dimensity 9000's chipset, this smartphone allows the photographer to transfer photo-video files in a flash, thanks to its UFS 3.1 storage. The next rule is filling the frame. To fill the frame means making your subject a large portion of your image. This means you need to get close to your subject and fill the entire frame with your subject, leaving very little space for the background. This simplifies your composition as it essentially a single element and you don't have to worry about distracting elements in the background. The next rule is minimalism. Minimalism emphasizes sparedness and focuses solely on the smallest number of objects in the composition process. There is no clutter to distract viewers from the main subject. They see exactly what the photographer wants them to see. Here, we rely on simplistic compositions, heavy use of empty space, and elimination of clutter. Even after shooting for long hours, have a look at the battery level. With MediaTek Dimensity 9000 enhanced LPDDR5, this smartphone consumes very less power and battery can last for longer hours in a day. That's it for today. If you liked this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel for more such content. See you next week.